Pandemonium Reigns.
Yo, welcome back. Oh, maybe back if you listen to the other episode. Welcome to Pandemonium Reigns. Thank you so much for tuning in. What a wild week 7. Week 7, right? No, week 6.
Week 6, right?
Week
Yeah,
6.
week 6.
My gosh, it's going so fast.
Yes, it is.
So let's just jump right in because this is fun. I made a post on Facebook yesterday after close to the day being over, and I said, and 2007 dies. If you know, you know. And all my comments seem to be thinking I'm talking about Tennessee. I'm not. I'm not. I'm talking about the death of Kansas. Not the death, I shouldn't say that, but the run of Kansas, the national
Kansas
title.
run.
Yeah, the Jayhawk time. TCU was like, we don't care who you are.
Yeah, I'd be interested to watch that game in an alternate reality with Jalen Daniels healthy for full game, but injuries happens, part of the game. TCU still undefeated, man. They still having a magical year.
Yeah.
And nothing at all for Kansas to feel bad about in that game that I watched, which was not much because Tennessee just scored again, and my my ADD was going ham. So yeah, not much for Kansas to feel bad about. I'm sure that they would love to play that game with Daniels healthy, but fun season still. Yeah, hopefully they bounce back quickly.
Hey, talking about Kansas. Oh my gosh, did you guys just hear that? Tennessee just scored again. Sorry. Hey, talking about Kansas here. You mentioned Daniels going down, which, I mean, that really stinks. Really like this guy. But the backup, this Bean kid, 16 for 24, 262 yards, 4 touchdowns. Good for
a half of football.
Yeah, and with a QBR of 90.1. Listen, it's not like they had some kind of drop-off. Listen, that's coaching right there.
Yes, it is.
So credit to Leipold. You know what? I want to feel bad for Kansas, and I would probably feel a whole lot different if this is coming like from an Oklahoma or from a Texas Tech. But it came from a TCU. I mean, they're Christians. I like those guys. and Max Dugan, he's making an argument, man. I don't know what he's making an argument for, but he just went 23 for 33, 308 yards, 3 scores, 1 pick. And he ran it 9 attempts for 55 yards and a score. Dude's balling out.
Balling, man. Baller. And, here's the thing that I'm happy about is Kansas is 19th in one poll, 20th in another. APN coaches, not sure which is which because Tennessee is 6 and I don't know what to do with my hands and I can't read stuff. But Kansas still, they didn't fall far. I'm happy to see that because it took them 5 weeks to get ranked. So, I'm happy they didn't just drop them right out. I think that's fair. And again, hope they bounce back quickly because isn't Oklahoma next? Is that right?
For Kansas?
Yeah.
It sure is in Norman.
Let's go. Let's go, Jayhawks. Bounce back, baby.
We're going to get there, but I have to say this right now. Oklahoma is back to back losses for the first time since Noah and the Ark.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, TCU has got this receiver. I don't know if you're seeing the stat, 14 for 206. Did you see this guy? This dude is 6'4", 215.
Dude, I saw a couple, or I saw the touchdown that he had, and I was like, what in the world? That was nasty.
Yeah. So, hey, look out for TCU. TCU is going to get a big one this coming week where they are a 2.5-point favorite over Oklahoma State, who I have said since the beginning, best team in the Big 12 and a team that nobody's talking about. So,
yeah.
Mike Gundy's over there just like, okay, Oklahoma, okay, Texas, y'all leave. I'll hold this
y'all
down.
Keep the attention off of us. We'll just hold it right down.
We'll just do our things here. We'll just do our things. So, hate that for Kansas, but boy, do I love it for Texas.
Yeah, dude. Hey, Tennessee ain't the only team out here exercising demons in 2022. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Dude,
I know what you're talking
49 to nothing. They also just scored again. We did, but they also just scored again.
They also just did. Yes.
Quentin Ewers. We talked about the worst case scenario on Facebook Live yesterday being if he came back, wasn't able to be what he was against Alabama, and there was a controversy or Hudson Card felt bad, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Had himself a game. Oklahoma has no stop for anything right now. Nothing. They can't stop a nosebleed right now.
and it's just going to get tougher for those guys because the rest of their Big 12 stretch is legitimate. Hosting Kansas,
Sure is.
traveling to Iowa State, hosting Baylor. The West Virginia game is meh, but then they got Bedlam in Norman, and then they go to Texas Tech, and none of those guys are pushovers. None of them.
None of them. And that Iowa State game, dude, Iowa State is like the master of keeping a team under like 14 or 21 points right now. That they'll struggle to score against Iowa State if they score the ball at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And flipping it over to Texas, Texas has got, a decent – I can't believe I'm looking at the second half of the schedule here for one.
Makes me sad. Very sad.
But like you said, Iowa State going to host those guys, going to travel to Stillwater, play the Cowboys, going to travel to Kansas State, going to host TCU, going to travel to Kansas, and going to host Baylor. That's a rough stretch for Texas.
It is a rough stretch. And again, we talked about this on one episode, but the Big 12 is bringing you the parity in this sport for this year.
Yeah.
And it's very fun to watch. It's not realistic amongst the true blue bloods, I don't think, in the true power conferences, but the Big 12's got it right now. It is a lot of fun. Tell you what I would love to see, and this would mean a couple losses for some teams that I don't necessarily want to lose or see them lose games, but I would love to see Texas roll into that TCU, that Kansas matchup in weeks, the third and second to last weekends of the season without any additional losses. Roll into those games with just those 2 losses. Prove to us that you might be finally back. And I think those matchups could be a lot of fun, especially that TCU one.
Man, I'm really glad you used that word back. I need to say this for our non-Tennessee fans. We're not back. Okay. Okay. We're not back. We said it on the Orange Cast. We beat a bad LSU team. We're not back. There still is a whole lot more to prove in order to say Tennessee is back. I'm seeing this all over Twitter. Tennessee's back. Shut up.
Please.
All right.
Please.
Dan and Mike are not those guys. All right. So turned on CBS 330 yesterday and boring football.
Fell asleep.
Boring. Auburn and Georgia, the rivalry that is and was a snoozer, dude.
Yeah, it was. And again, I was not too much of a casual, but I was a bit of a casual yesterday, just with some fall stuff coming up. Some traveling and some birthday stuff going on in my friends group. So I didn't get to watch a ton of that game, but every time I did, dude, I needed like a cup of coffee to stay awake. It was bad.
It wasn't even a great performance from Georgia.
Yeah.
And look at that final score, 42-10 over Auburn. I mean,
right.
You and I both said weeks ago, Stetson is the best quarterback in the conference. What else do you want him to do? My gosh, he's playing lights out, especially after that Oregon game. And then you and I spoke, right? And it's right. Like Stetson's like, I actually am just a mailman. I actually do just work for UPS. I'm making jokes, but he had a good day. 22 for 32, 208 yards, good for 6.5 per completion. No scores, no touchdowns. I think a stat that jumps off to me is their true freshman running back. Are you seeing this?
Yeah, I am, and that name sticks out to me because your good buddy told us about Branson Robinson, and here he is I've been looking for him because of what we were told on these same airwaves about Branson Robinson. So I've been looking out for him here as weeks go, and he may have broken into the mix here. 12 for 98, 1 touchdown with a long of 30. We've talked about Auburn a lot. We've talked about Georgia a good bit. Auburn has played fairly decent defense in a lot of games. So that is their rushing numbers from yesterday are probably some of the most impressive that Georgia's had.
Yeah, absolutely. They the day was just filled though with I didn't feel like Sanford brought any kind of energy, and maybe I'm biased. I'm sorry. If you're a Georgia fan out there listening, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe it was just because it was on CBS and it wasn't even Gary Danielson calling it. But
Rick Neuheisel, was it?
Yeah, dude, my gosh. I mean, they were showing flashbacks of UCLA and Georgia in like 1949. I don't know. Anyway, it was boring. As of right now, at the time of the recording of this podcast, Brian Harsin still has a job. I'm not real sure how, because defensively, I didn't feel like they do what they didn't do what they should have done, which was just bring house.
Yeah.
Cover 1, cover 0. They just didn't do it. I mean, if they're about to be late to this coaching carousel party.
Yeah, and maybe not, since it is still during the season and you don't see hires be made until bowl season, conference championship time. But you're right, it's going to happen. So stop delaying the inevitable and just make your move, identify your guy, get those back channels working, because we all know it happens. It's just tampering.
It happens. Yes.
It's just like tampering with the freaking Jordan Addisons, the top players in the country. So just do it.
Yeah.
And lock down the hire. You can't miss. Auburn's always going to have a chance to be pretty good, but you just don't need to back your situation into any more of a corner to have a prayer of getting it out any longer than it's already going to take.
Rumor on the street is they're already talking to Deion Sanders. That contact has already been made. But this thing that I want to say about this, and you don't want to pull the trigger too early on the guy. It's not like you can have the conversations. Yada. What do you have to gain from it? Yada yada. Okay, what do you have to gain from it? Look at Georgia Tech.
Exactly.
They're 2-0 since firing Campbell.
Exactly.
Maybe 2-1, but they at least got 2 wins under the belt.
I think it's 2-0. I'm pretty sure it's 2-0.
So that's why.
That is why you do it.
So do the thing, and I hate it because you and I are both fans of Brian Harsin. Watch this guy once the trigger is pulled. Watch him go back out west.
Yep.
Might even be a candidate for that Colorado job. Who knows?
Could be. And just to give another example, Wisconsin won 42-7 yesterday. I don't know that they had 42 points all year to that point. So I'm not going to do the legwork or the research. I'm just going to tell you 42-7 over Northwestern, but they've struggled with points in every game this year. So do with that what you will.
There you go. Let's keep the primetime games up front, because those are the most fun. Kansas may have lost. It may not be 2007 after all because of them. But I just don't have a clue what to make of this Alabama A&M game.
That makes 2 of us, my friend. Like I've said, for multiple platforms, multiple podcasts, and the live stream yesterday, when A&M lost that game to Appalachian State, I just had a feeling that they were going to backdoor or find a weird way to be 8-4, 9-3. They now sit at 3-3. So only, if they go undefeated the rest of the way and finish 9-3, I'd be shocked.
Mm-hmm.
But how can you not be? I don't know if encouraged is the word. How can you not feel some kind of good from giving Alabama a 60-minute game where you call it atrocious play at the end to lose it, but you would have had to find a way into the end zone from 2 yards out? You didn't, but you were right there in position to beat them back-to-back times. You got to feel good about that. You have to. You have to convert that into something. Results in the win-loss column if you're Fisher and co.
And this is your time, because you got South Carolina up next, and they're going to be riding a high, but they beat a Will Levis-less Kentucky team.
Yeah.
And Shane Beamer might still be dancing in the locker room with his glasses. But anyway,
that's
beside
the point.
A&M, I don't know how they did it, but they found a way to get 20 points against a really good Alabama defense, and everybody knows that their offense has just been abysmal.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they did it. Here's a question for you though. Did you get to see the final play?
I did see basically what I saw of this game was early action. I saw highlights, and then I saw Texas A&M from basically the 40-yard line through the end of the game there at the end.
Okay, so very last play, pass interference on the defense or no?
Yes, pass interference.
I don't
know. Same guy that had just pass interfered earlier, if I wasn't mistaken.
I mean, his left arm is hooked, and he's reaching across. Even if that ball is caught, I thought it was, for the most part, uncatchable. It was too far in front, not towards the goal line, which is funny in itself. But by the book, defensive pass interference. A&M should have been looking at another play in my mind.
Yeah.
As a Tennessee fan, I'm going good.
Yes, I'm right there with you. We've talked about that a lot in text and on the phone, but you do not want Alabama off of a loss nor off of a bye. So you avoid both of those things. You get them where they're probably going to be treated by Nick Saban as if they had lost by 7 touchdowns, but that's still better because those players know that they won that game playing pretty crappy with the turnovers, the fumbles, the sacks allowed. You didn't play your best and you won. So you got away with it feeling that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about that a lot more this week, but it feels good knowing that they didn't lose that game with that energy from Saban.
Yeah. A&M found the end zone twice, not because of A-Chain, but because of Haynes King and his ability to throw the ball. The dude was 25 for 46. A lot of passes, about a little more than half. I'm not sure what that completion percentage is. 253 yards. That's his best game of the year.
100%.
And it's not even close. Did you see, if you didn't, you need to go back, bro, and check this out. The game ends, Haynes King is on the sideline, and you can read his lips clearly. He says, "Why the F did I just throw that there?"
No, I didn't see that. I'll have to go find that clip.
Looks like he's on the verge of tears.
He was interesting to watch just in the little bit that I did see. You know, he took a hit I think he threw this ball away. It might have been an incompletion, a regular incompletion, not a throwaway. But he throws the ball away. He gets hit as he throws, and then he's kind of laying there with his helmet on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell if he was hurt or if he was kind of, I don't want to just throw this term, but if he was a head case, I couldn't tell where he was at in that moment, kind of emotionally and everything. But yeah, his best performance, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that play call. I hate that he threw it there.
Yeah.
I hate everything about it. Johnny Manziel felt the same way. His timeline from last night was worth a read for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that knows the sport even decently well knows how bad of an attempt that was for that to be your only attempt.
Mm-hmm.
You should have got PI, I think, or at least a hold. So you didn't get that, but you did get it to play before, which was big. And again, an accurate call to me. But I don't know what to make of them. I hope they absolutely murder South Carolina. Beamer is such a clown. I'm not doing this conversation again because it does get old, but what an absolute clown, celebrating in the locker room like they won the Super Bowl and they beat sorry Kentucky without Will Levis.
Yeah. I think we just were able to see how good Kentucky is without him, and it's not good.
Right. And you know, I don't think they're even great with him, but they are bad without him. 14 points against South Carolina won't do it. That's just not good.
No. And South Carolina's they're not good.
Right.
Alabama, though, let's talk about them for a second. Jahmyr Gibbs has found his stride. Jalen Milroe, though, I mean, I just want to fly over the Gibbs conversation. 21 for 154.
Sure.
Okay, he's good. Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't want to talk about him anymore either.
yeah, he's good. Jalen Milroe, though, this dude has the funkiest throwing motion that I think I've ever seen. It
is weird.
It's weird. I mean, but it was good enough to throw for over 100 yards and 3 scores. You know, he wants to run.
He does want to run for sure.
And he's got an incredible talent to do so, which scares the life out of me, right?
Absolutely.
I just see Matt Corral all over again, but and it could be worse.
Oh, he's so much more explosive than him too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we will definitely see some design stuff out of him if he's under center next week. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this guy? I mean,
I was trying to get to, and I've almost gotten there, but I want to see these sack numbers for A&M, and it looks like they sacked him 4 times. They managed 10 tackles for loss, though. That feels obscenely high. I know that Alabama's been weird at the offensive line position for a few years now, and I know that it's not really mattered because they've had receivers that get open immediately, and they have quarterbacks that can throw it a mile and can fit it in, you know, the eye of a needle and all that, but that's a lot of tackles for loss. That's a lot of, or not a ton of sacks, but 4 sacks for a mobile quarterback. 2 of them were fumbles, I believe, if not more. They actually lost 3 fumbles, but McClellan lost 1 as well. So a very, very unclean performance in a game that they should have been supremely motivated by their coach in. All the narrative and talking point material that you could ever hope for between the loss last year, Jimbo's comments before the year last year about beating Saban, and then all the NIL silliness this year. I don't understand the performance for Alabama, even with Milroe over Young, because there's still weapons. He's still a phenomenal athlete. A&M has been anything but consistent and solid. So I don't know much about that performance. I would love to see them repeat that performance facing an offense as dynamic as Tennessee's in Neyland Stadium next week. But it's a tough game and a tough performance for me to wrap my head around because of all the motivation they should have had going into that game.
Everybody, even the paper, had this being a bloodbath in Alabama's favor, and the fact that it wasn't, I'm just really not sure what to say. Other than I think Texas A&M's problem on the year has been quarterback play and probably some offensive play calling. So with that said, across the board, talent-wise, they're really talented. They're deep. They're talented. They got a lot of dudes, and they give Alabama all they wanted. So, props to them. Here's to hoping that all the emotion has come out of Alabama as they travel this week. But I mean, it just continues to be a season where I just don't know what to think of. I don't know.
You're right. There's so many more questions than answers from even your top 5 of the country. And we'll get to some of those teams in a minute, but specifically Georgia's weird streak that they've been hit with since Kent State. Alabama's just weird performances, even parts of that Arkansas game that they covered on the road. It's just been a weird season. Yeah. And I'm here for it. I hate when the season just goes as chalk and, Alabama or Georgia or whoever dominates from week 1 through the end. That's the worst. But it's still weird season with not a lot of answers.
Yeah. Lots going on. All right, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Let's say it's next Saturday. Let's Neyland Stadium. We are down 2. We're Bama 19, Tennessee 17.
Okay.
We have possession. 45 seconds left. We are on the Alabama 25-yard line. We have 3 timeouts. We take a shot to the end zone. How mad are you? You see what I'm doing here?
Yeah, I'm somewhere between. Look, to answer this question for Florida State, that is the silliest crap that I've seen from anybody. College players need to have the IQ to not throw that pass that Jordan Travis sent. It's like what we've seen with other players.
Let me stop you though. When that play goes through the headset of the head coach, he's got to go, no.
Sure.
No.
But even still, there's other routes in the play. Don't throw it there.
I mean, even know why you put the ball in the air.
Exactly. Run the ball.
What? But you got 3 timeouts and a fresh set of downs. What are you doing?
The first thing that popped in my head is that Hendon Hooker wouldn't throw that pick against anyone.
No.
But Heupel wouldn't call that play there. I don't see any reason or proof that he would. But what FSU was doing, man, that's the stuff. That's the way they've lost games for a while now in weird ways. I'm not even going to go into their effort, but the play calling, the coaching, to allow it to get into that scenario is just the stupidest thing I've seen from this weekend.
It's awful. I hate to say it because I really like the guy, but that's on Mike Norvell. You have
it sure is.
As soon as that hits the headset from the offense coordinator, no. No, gosh, you just reminded me of New Girl.
I did on purpose.
Shut it down.
Yeah, shut that thing down.
And you know what? NC State did that without Devin Leary. Did you realize that?
I did realize that. I didn't watch even 1 minute of this game, but I did realize as I was keeping track of that game throughout the events of last night and the Alabama game and all that Leary was out of the game.
At least towards the end. I don't know when he went down.
Yeah. I mean, heck, nobody even completed a pass for positive yards for them. But yeah, that's impressive. They had enough success on the ground to to get them in range for those like field goals and those scores. But yeah, another weird game, a 0 IQ play call, play execution, the throw, just the whole thing. Where's the football IQ? You're an ACC, you're a former college football power. You've played well this season. Where's the football IQ? Don't throw that ball at that situation.
I just don't get it. And for you to lose that, man, I would be livid.
I would not be consolable. I would not be consolable.
Just inexcusable. Hey, another round of applause. I know we did this on the Archcast. 2 words: Brett Bielema.
Winning 9-6 Illinois, huh?
Winning the Brett Bielema Bowl. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, props to him. I don't know anything to say about this game other than they won 9-6. Illinois is 5-1. They're 5-1. They are staring at bowl eligibility, getting ready to host Minnesota. They're going to beat Nebraska. They're probably going to beat Michigan State. They got a chance at beating Purdue. They won't beat Michigan, and they'll beat Northwestern.
What they will do is win the Big Ten West.
Bro, that's wild.
That is absolutely wild.
Good. Hey, good for them. Good.
That
for them.
dude, man, he can coach. He can do a limited and certain number of things very well. Run the ball, namely. Excuse me, wasn't able to get muted there. But yeah, a 9-6 football game in 2022 does feel like 2007 in that regard. What an ugly, hideous game. I've seen enough from Iowa to take this from if Kirk Ferentz won't fire his son, the OC, he has to go. You can't do this. That's egregious. That if I was a parent of a player, I would be burning things down. If I was a fan, I would be in jail. You can't do these things, man. That's just nepotism and ineptitude, and you cannot have that in college football.
Oh gosh. Oh, it's just so bad. 9-6. Iowa is not good.
No,
they are not good. Hey, do you know who's getting better? Notre Dame. They got to win.
Notre Dame is getting better.
They got to win. Did you see? Let's see if I can't find this stat line real quick for the Notre Dame quarterback. Yeah, 22 for 28, 262 yards against the Mormons, the Cougars.
3 touchdowns and a pick, and I bet they wish Drew Pine was playing that kind of ball when they lost to Marshall early in the year.
My gosh.
I mean, how do you go from losing to Marshall to beating a pretty good BYU team? Now, Notre Dame covered this. They were expected to win by 3.5. I know this because I bet on BYU to cover that and really win the game. And Vegas was onto something there. Notre Dame pulls off the 8-point win, which I still just don't understand. I don't know how you ride that roller coaster of the Ohio State good game. You go to the lowest of lows, with the exception of maybe Texas A&M and a few others, Miami, and then you start climbing again. I don't understand it. You'd love to see them put it together for a full season if you're a fan. It is what it is, though, and they are definitely getting better and more consistent.
Bro, I put my hands up. I don't know. They're playing my song, and the butterflies fly away. I don't know.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, the bottom of the SEC East strikes and gets Kentucky. Actually, that's not true. The bottom of the SEC East went toe-to-toe there with Ole Miss. That's really all I know to say, because they were winning that game at halftime, and then the bottom just fell out.
Then they Vanderbilted.
But let's just talk South Carolina and Kentucky for a second, because goodness, I feel, again, Tennessee's not back, but I do feel we're out of that middle tier with those guys.
Yes. Okay. I've made a couple comments when we're talking about, I'm not going to worry about superstition and stupid things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that, but if I'm looking at South Carolina and Kentucky and Missouri specifically, Vanderbilt, I don't worry about Vanderbilt right now. I just don't. But if I'm looking at those 3 teams in the East that I just mentioned, it probably goes something like, if UK has Levis, I would worry about him. If Missouri has that defense and that performance against Georgia, I'd worry about them. And then I wouldn't talk about South Carolina because they're clowns.
bro. But the South Carolina has Shane Beamer.
Don't they have this quarterback that already won the Heisman too? Oh no,
Oh gosh.
he was just good for 177 yards and another interception. How many is that on the year now? Is that 14, 15?
Oh, is it really
He's
that
got
much?
no, he's got 5 touchdowns and 8 picks, and he's still a clown. My bad. I can't stand these guys.
Yeah.
That speech was such a joke, bro.
Yeah.
The clowns.
Yeah. I'm listen, y'all. I'm trying real hard to get Mike stirred up right now, but I'm running out of words to say to get him worked up. It will be the most Tennessee thing ever, though, if we find a way to lose to a Kentucky at this point or to a South Carolina.
It would be 2016 if we did that for sure. I'm not even gonna, like I said, I'm not worried about superstitions and things, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that would be literally 2016, and it would probably cost us like the Sugar Bowl or the East, if it happened. But listen to this, okay? Hear me out here. South Carolina passed the ball for 177 yards. All of those were from Spencer Rattler. The punter didn't get involved because Beamer, special teams, whole thing. Kentucky still outpassed them with that backup, Kawa Sharon. I don't even know if it's how you say his first name. Kawa.
It's Sharon.
He still outpassed Spencer Rattler by a yard, mind you, but the backup still outpassed Spencer Rattler, that clown, him and his head coach over there that are celebrating with their sunglasses on.
My gosh, bro, that guy went into the locker room and quoted stuff. Of course, we would do this too, but he went in and quoted stuff that Stoops said back at SEC media days. I mean, he's definitely Dabo in that regard.
Yeah, he has a back pocket list, if you will, that he keeps front and center at all times. If you talk about him, he's going to remember it. And I can't wait for South Carolina to host Tennessee 7 or 8 p.m. Get it all excited about a night game. Tennessee's up like 54-3. They score a touchdown, and he's got both of his arms up. He's so pumped. We're coming back. No, he's just a clown that's still faking excitement over stupid parts of games that don't matter.
Oh gosh. I hope my good friend Billy's not listening, because
sorry, buddy.
I just don't like those guys.
If you are, I'm sorry. I can't respect what's going on there right now. Every word that gets said about you and how much it matters feels a little Butch Jones to me. Yeah. And then your quarterback getting outperformed by Kentucky's backup. Yeah. That's just, I've got nothing for Spencer Rattler. 5 touchdowns, 8 picks. That's god awful. That's exactly what I saw coming, and what everybody that knows this guy saw coming. So just please give me reasons to respect him, and maybe I will.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Keeping it in the state of South Carolina, DJ Uiagalelei proves again that he is better than last year. 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. I'm not going to speak too much to this just because I didn't see any of it, other than when I did see it. Boston College uniforms are hideous. My heavens, I can vomit and make it look better than what I just saw. I want to recap, or not even recap, but just hint something on here. I don't know if you saw this. North Carolina went into Miami and got a win on what has to be the funniest thing I have ever seen, because the Miami sideline went bonkers. Miami goes to onside kick, and Al Blades, famous Al Blades Jr., is running down the sideline out of bounds and knocks the ball back in, and Miami recovers, and the Miami sideline goes crazy. And North Carolina's looking at him like, bro, we all saw that he was out of bounds. Like, no, not how this game is played. And you can hear a faint chant from the heavenly angel chorus going, "You can't do that." I am begging in the recliner of my living room for ESPN, pan the crowd. I want to see the crowd. And so they do, and they pan this one little section, and you go, oh, Miami's got some fans there. And then they pan the rest of it, and it's just that little student section. I don't even know. And it's just not there. It's just not there. All you know what? Let's see if I can find a total attendance for this thing, if it was on here. 64,000. Man, that feels like a stretch.
I think that's what the place holds. If I'm honest, I think that's what the
No,
stadium holds.
that's not possible. No. That's not possible. That's not
Okay.
possible because there were so many empty seats when that thing panned. Unless Miami fans were just like, "Bump this, we're out of here. I'm going to go get drunk," and like roll tide. I mean, I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
so good for North Carolina. Miami is slowly becoming a joke.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech gets a win over Duke. They're now 3-3. Hey, they're going to host Virginia. They got a chance to win that.
Oh yeah.
They're going to travel to Florida State. I don't like them there. They go to Virginia Tech. They got a chance to win that.
Super winnable. Mm-hmm.
They got a chance to beat Miami, I think.
Sure enough, they do. Yeah.
They will play North Carolina. Who knows? And they're just not going to beat Georgia.
No.
So props to those guys. Ole Miss, just very quickly, the most quiet top 10 presence I think I've ever seen.
Ever in the history of this sport. If I could get back to the SEC, there it is. Good riddance. ESPN. Yeah, dude, the quietest 6-0. That's half a regular season worth of undefeated football.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it. Talk about a team doing it different ways. We talked about Tennessee in that regard. Well, yesterday it was Jackson Dart going off for 448. It was not Zach Evans and Quinshon Judkins and the running game or necessarily the defense because they gave up 28 to Vanderbilt, which is frankly terrible. Mm-hmm. And their defense has improved. But different ways to win, playing pretty good football. Going to get really interesting, as we all know, for the SEC West. They got Auburn, probably penciled them in for 7-0, if not right at in pin, and then LSU and A&M before the Alabama game. So it's going to get really interesting down the stretch. They have a chance to be that second best team in the West.
Oh, I mean, as of right now,
they are.
I mean, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And ever so quietly because their head coach was weird because their head coach is Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, right.
So weird.
Very.
But that first half was a struggle for them against Vanderbilt.
Sure was.
Still can't figure out what's going on with Vanderbilt and Mike Wright. I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah, I both don't know and don't care enough about Vanderbilt to look into it. Sorry, guys.
I mean, I hear you, but what's crazy is I did see him on the field yesterday. He was on the field.
It is very weird.
But he does not have a stat registered, so I don't know what's up there.
Very weird.
Washington wet the bed, dropped an egg against Arizona State. But getting to this one, this is what I want to hang out here before we drop off. Mel Tucker. Whoa. How much longer? I mean, listen, you had a great year last year, but you just got thumped again by Ohio State. This is year 3. I think 2020 was your first year. 20, yeah.
That sounds correct.
So,
dude, they don't have that Texas A&M money to pay off that buyout. It's not as big, but boy, that has to be the dumbest contract, the best agent work I've ever seen, the dumbest contract I've ever seen agreed to for a school.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't know what the answer is there. Load up in the transfer portal, say your prayers, but doesn't look good. I'd hate to be them.
CJ Stroud was 21 for 26. Did you see this? Six touchdowns, 1 pick.
And that did go for a pick 6. I was informed by my good buddy that's a Michigan fan because of his interest in those teams.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 of Mississippi State's points came off pick 6. They're 7 of their 20 points. That's absolutely atrocious.
That's not good, but those are Heisman numbers from CJ Stroud.
Yeah, he's going to be tough to beat for the Heisman. As bad as I want it to be Hendon Hooker right now, it's going to be tough to beat for Stroud.
Yep. Hey, let's close this out by glancing at the top 25. Any movement there that you disagree with or agree with, or just any comments there?
No, nothing crazy for me. I'm pretty good with what I've seen. Like I mentioned, I'm glad that Kansas remained ranked. I think you can make a case that you could make a lot of arguments in that top 10 and stuff, but a lot of movement, which I respect because I like to see, reasonable responses there, but no, nothing crazy.
Yeah. All that matters is the Vols are number 6. Love you guys. This is Pandemonium Reigns. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting us tickle those ears. That's a heart sign from Mikey Dove over there. Make sure you're subscribing and sharing. Do us a favor, hit this like button and tell somebody about Pandemonium Reigns. We love you guys. God bless and go Vols.
Y'all later.
Pandemonium Reigns.